Back then, generals frequently fought alongside their troops, facing the same dangers. They weren't just tacticians, they were warriors. And like any soldier, they were vulnerable to gunfire, disease, or the merciless turmoil of battle. Here are the stories of 20 Confederate commanders who perished in combat. We begin with Robert Selden Garnett. Born on December 16, 1819, in Essex County, Virginia, Garnett was a seasoned U.S. Army officer who sided with the Confederacy when war broke out. He holds the grim distinction of being the first general from either side killed in the war. On July 13, 1861, while personally leading his rear guard at Corrick's Ford on the Cheat River, Garnett was struck in the back by Union rifle fire and died instantly. He was just 41 years old. Benjamin McCullik, born November 11, 1811, in Rutherford County, Tennessee, was a hardened veteran of the Texas Revolution and the Mexican-American War. Known for his frontier expertise, he rose to brigadier general in the Confederate Army. At the Battle of Pea Ridge on March 7, 1862, McCullik ventured into dense woodland to scout Union lines himself. Exposed to enemy fire, he was shot through the heart and killed on the spot. He was 50 years old. Felix Kirk Zollicoffer, born May 19, 1812, in Maury County, Tennessee, became a Confederate brigadier general despite lacking extensive military experience. During the Battle of Mill Springs on January 19, 1862, his troops became lost in thick fog and rugged terrain. Attempting to rally his men, he rode ahead, straight into what he thought were Confederate forces. Instead, it was a Union regiment. Some reports claim he was deliberately shot once recognized, while others suggest friendly fire may have been responsible. Either way, multiple bullets struck him down in moments. He was 49 at the time of his death. Albert Sidney Johnston, born February 2, 1803, in Washington, Kentucky, was among the Confederacy's highest-ranking officers early in the war, commanding all forces west of the Alleghenies as a full general. At the Battle of Shiloh, he spearheaded a fierce assault on Union defenses, personally leading the charge. Amid the fighting, a bullet tore through the back of his right knee, severing a major artery. Unaware of the severity of his wound, he kept issuing orders until blood loss forced him from his horse. With no medic nearby, he had sent his aides to assist others. He bled to death in his boot. Johnston died on April 6, 1862, at age 59. William Edwin Stark, born in 1814 in Brunswick County, Virginia, rapidly advanced to the rank of Confederate brigadier general, aided by his natural leadership and political ties. At the Battle of Antietam, he led a brigade under Jackson's division through the vicious combat in the West Woods. While attempting to steady his men under a hail of gunfire, he was hit several times, reportedly in the torso and leg. The wounds proved fatal, and Stark perished soon after on September 17, 1862, aged 48. George Burgoyne Anderson, born April 12, 1831, in Hillsborough, North Carolina, rose to brigadier general, commanding a brigade in Lee's Army of Northern Virginia. During Antietam, while leading his North Carolinians near the infamous Sunken Road, later called Bloody Lane, a bullet shattered his ankle. Infection set in rapidly, and despite efforts to save the leg, surgeons had no choice but to amputate. Gangrene followed, and Anderson died from complications on October 17, 1862, just 31 years old. Maxcy Gregg, born August 1, 1814, in Columbia, South Carolina, was an erudite lawyer and fervent secessionist, long a vocal proponent of states' rights. At Fredericksburg on December 13, 1862, his brigade occupied the Slaughter Pen Woods, positioned behind the Confederate front lines. When Union troops under General Meade launched an unexpected attack through the trees, Gregg, mistaking them for friendly forces, ordered his men to hold fire. The delay was disastrous. A Union bullet pierced his back, severing his spinal cord. He lingered until the following day, dying on December 14th at age 48. Thomas Reed Roots Cobb, born April 10, 1823, in Jefferson County, Georgia, was a fiery pro-slavery legislator who helped draft the Confederate Constitution before taking up arms. Promoted to brigadier general, he was stationed behind Marye's Heights stone wall at Fredericksburg, overseeing the defenses. During relentless Union artillery barrages, a shell burst near Telegraph Road, sending shrapnel through a window of the Stevens house, where Cobb had taken cover. A jagged fragment tore into his thigh and abdomen, slicing his femoral artery. Surgeons worked desperately to stem the bleeding, but the damage was too severe. Cobb hemorrhaged to death within hours, succumbing on December 13, 1862, at just 39. Thomas Jonathan Stonewall Jackson, born January 21, 1824, in Clarksburg, Virginia, now West Virginia, met his tragic end during the Battle of Chancellorsville. On the night of May 2, 1863, Confederate pickets, confused in the darkness, fired upon Jackson's reconnaissance party, believing them to be Union cavalry. The legendary general was struck 3 times, twice in his left arm and once in his right hand. Field surgeons amputated his shattered left arm, and while initial recovery seemed promising, pneumonia set in during his convalescence. Despite the best medical efforts available, Jackson's condition deteriorated rapidly. He succumbed to complications on May 10, 1863, just 39 years old, leaving the Confederacy without one of its most brilliant tactical minds. Lloyd Tilghman, born January 26, 1816, in Cleburne County, Maryland, was directing Confederate artillery during the Battle of Champion Hill when his luck ran out. On May 16, 1863, while personally overseeing cannon placements under intense Union fire, a shell fragment tore through his chest, killing the brigadier general instantly in full view of his troops. He was 47 years old at the time of his death. Martin Edwin Greene, born June 3, 1815, in Fauquier County, Virginia, became the subject of a grim wartime legend during the siege of Vicksburg. The brigadier general reportedly boasted that no bullet yet cast could kill him, only to be immediately proven wrong. On June 27, 1863, a Union marksman's bullet found its mark, striking Greene in the head and killing him instantly. He was 48 years old when this ironic twist of fate silenced his bold claim. Richard Brooke Garnett, born November 21, 1817, in Essex County, Virginia, cousin to the war's first general casualty, Robert S. Garnett, rode into history during Pickett's charge at Gettysburg. Despite suffering from fever and a leg wound that forced him to remain mounted, Garnett insisted on leading his brigade. On July 3, 1863, he advanced within 20 yards of the Union line at the angle on Cemetery Ridge, waving his hat to rally his men when a bullet struck him in the head. His remains were never positively identified, and he was interred in a mass grave by Union burial details, closing the book on one of Gettysburg's most tragic command casualties. Paul Jones Semmes, born June 4, 1815, in Wilkes County, Georgia, met his fate during the brutal fighting in Gettysburg's Wheatfield. While leading his brigade forward on July 2, 1863, a bullet tore through his thigh. Evacuated to a field hospital, the Georgia Brigadier General fought for 8 days against infection and complications before succumbing on July 10, 1863, at age 48, one of many high-ranking Confederate casualties in that pivotal battle. Carnot Posey's story began August 5, 1818, in Wilkinson County, Mississippi. The Brigadier General's military career ended at Bristow Station on October 14, 1863, when artillery shrapnel mangled his thigh near the Orange and Alexandria Railroad. Like so many wounded officers of his era, Posey battled infection for nearly a month before passing on November 13, 1863, at 45 years old. His death highlighting the primitive medical care available even to senior commanders. The dashing cavalryman J.E.B. Stuart, born February 6, 1833, Patrick County, Virginia, suffered a mortal wound at Yellow Tavern on May 11, 1864. A Michigan cavalryman's bullet entered his abdomen and exited near his spine. The Confederacy's most famous horseman lingered in agony until May 12th, surrounded by loved ones, dying at just 31. A devastating loss for Lee's army during the crucial overland campaign. Albert Gallatin Jenkins, born November 10, 1830, in Cabell County, Virginia, now West Virginia, fell during the Battle of Cloyd's Mountain on May 9, 1864. The cavalry commander's arm was shattered by gunfire, and subsequent gangrene infection claimed his life 12 days later on May 21st. At 33, Jenkins became another promising young leader lost to the war's relentless grind, The controversial Leonidas Polk, April 10, 1806 rally, North Carolina, met a spectacular end during the Atlanta campaign. While scouting Pine Mountain on June 14, 1864, the Episcopal bishop-turned-general was bisected by a Union artillery shell, killed instantly at age 58. Polk's dramatic death shocked Confederate forces and deprived them of a senior commander during Sherman's advance. William Henry Talbot Walker, born November 26, 1816, in Augusta, Georgia. William Henry Talbot Walker's story reached its climax during the Battle of Atlanta on July 22, 1864. The Georgia-born general was directing maneuvers near the front lines when a Union marksman's bullet found its mark, piercing his heart. Walker died instantly in the saddle, his lifeless body remaining upright in the stirrups until aides rushed to his side. At 47 years old, he became one of the highest-ranking Confederate casualties during Sherman's Atlanta campaign. Stephen Dodson Ramsur, born May 31, 1837, in Lincolnton, North Carolina, met his end at Cedar Creek on October 19, 1864. The young division commander was desperately trying to rally his crumbling lines against Sheridan's devastating counterattack when multiple bullets struck him, one through the chest, another through the shoulder. Carried from the field, the 27-year-old general succumbed to his wounds the following day, marking one of the Confederacy's last losses in the Shenandoah Valley. The legendary Patrick Ronayne Cleburne, born March 16, 1828, in County Cork, Ireland, earned his Stonewall of the West moniker through brilliant performances at Perryville, Stones River, and Chickamauga. His career ended tragically at Franklin on November 30, 1864, when he led his division in a doomed assault against fortified Union positions. Choosing to lead on foot through a storm of lead and cannon fire, the 36-year-old Major General was shot through the chest near the Union breastworks, dying instantly. His death marked the loss of one of the Confederacy's most capable tactical minds in the war's final months. So who endured the cruelest fate? Was it the instantly killed like Walker and Cleburne, or those like Ramsur who suffered through agonizing final hours? Share your thoughts below. If you've enjoyed this journey through Civil War history, don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth profiles and daily historical challenges. Our upcoming videos will continue exploring the human stories behind the battlefields, each one waiting to test your knowledge and spark new discussions about America's bloodiest conflict.